Hey guys, I decided to try something new with my time-lapse recordings. I thought maybe I could answer some questions that I get asked frequently in this video to start off, and if enough people are interested, I'll keep making more of these and just see how it goes from there. First of all, I guess if you're not like a follower and you're like, who the hell is this guy? Hi, I'm Mars or Marzoid. I make webcomics and art for a living, and I have been doing so since I guess 2017 is when I really started like using my art as like a means of income. Yeah, that's who I am, I guess. This video is probably gonna go up to patrons first. So if you're not already subbed to my Patreon, consider checking it out for more process videos and tips and stuff like that, assuming I actually make more of these. Yeah, so anyway, as for like questions I get, one of the most common questions I get asked is what program and brushes I use. And I have a couple tablets. I have my Huion GT191 Canvas tablet that is hooked up to my computer. It's like a screen tablet, kind of like a Cintiq alternative, I guess you could call it. And that's like my main tablet, but I also have an iPad Pro that I use a lot. This picture I actually did with my Huion Canvas. But yeah, I usually use pretty much exclusively Clip Studio these days, which is what I'm using here. I also use Clip Studio on my iPad. I used to work in Photoshop a lot, but I switched over to Clip and basically never looked back. Nowadays I really only use Photoshop if I'm doing something like text heavy. But otherwise, I really enjoy using Clip for pretty much everything. As for like brushes that I use, I mostly, that's kind of hard to answer because I tend to cycle through brushes pretty frequently. Like I'll use a few for a while, and then I'll get like bored of them and decide I need some new ones, so then I'll go download. I usually use just the Clip Studio's assets page, where people will just upload brushes and stuff like that, other assets that they make for Clip Studio. A lot of them are free, so I usually just will go like browse on there for a while and download a bunch of brushes that I think look cool. Yeah, if you don't use anything but default brushes in Clip Studio, I recommend at least like checking out the Clip Assets page, because there's a lot of pretty cool shit there. I do have a couple brushes that I come back to a lot, which I'll put links to in the description, my favorite brushes. I think I'm using one of them here, or maybe that's one that I made myself. I also like make a lot of brushes for myself, but they'll usually just be like if I'm gonna do like a minor tweak to a brush that I already have, I'll just make a completely new brush. So I have a lot of very like redundant brushes that I use, and and then I'll like download more, and it's like only slightly different from one I already have. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Another question I usually get is like how I make my webcomics. And for webcomic type discussions, I think I would want to make like a whole separate video probably for just webcomic talk, just because like I could go on for a while about how to how to start off making webcomics and all that goes into them, because it can get pretty complicated, I guess, sometimes. But I do have a PDF that is free with webcomic tips that I made a little while ago, and it's free. It's a like optional pay what you want. If you do want to pay for it, you don't have to, obviously. Yeah, I'll link to that too. I feel like it could be pretty fun to actually make a video about like my webcomic process, because there's definitely a lot that I could probably talk about easier in a video, like actually like verbally versus in a PDF or whatever. And I could show like examples, stuff like that. So if that's like something you guys want to see, let me know, and I'll, try to make something like that in the future probably. Let's see what else. Another common question I get asked is like who my biggest influences are for my art style. And honestly, I kind of try to take inspiration from everything I can if it appeals to me. Like I have a Pinterest board with several like sub boards or categories or whatever they call it over there, with like art divided into like if I like this drawing based on the rendering or based on the colors or based on the inking or the anatomy or whatever. So I have it all like organized like that. So if I'm ever in the middle of drawing something or like about to draw something, I'll kind of glance, I'll like look through my Pinterest boards for just a little extra inspiration. It's nice too when I kind of get stuck on something. Like sometimes I'll like let's say I drew Rouge's hair here and like I really didn't like how it looked, but I couldn't think of like how to make it look better. I guess I would probably just use my Pinterest board to look at saved drawings or photos of people's hair, how other people draw hair and stuff, and just kind of take bits and pieces of inspiration from that. So like there's definitely a lot of like inspiration that I take from pretty much anything. Like sometimes I'll save an entire drawing just because I really like the way somebody drew I don't know, one hand or something, and I'm like, oh, that's a really nice hand. I gotta save that. So I have I almost have more inspiration than I know what to do with when I save stuff on Pinterest. That's I feel like that's kind of the like the drawback of like saving all of your inspiration to one place, because then I just have so much on there that I even though I like organize it into categories, I still feel like it's kind of overwhelming. Sometimes I'll go through my Pinterest boards like for inspiration and I'm like, oh, this is too much. I don't even feel like drawing anymore. So, I don't know if I would really consider that like a tip or advice from me, but take from that what you will, I guess. But there's definitely some like core inspiration artists that I'm influenced by, and let's see, definitely like Robert Valley I think is a huge one for me. I don't look at his art super often, but every time I do, I'm like, oh shit, I wish I could draw like that. That looks awesome. So I would definitely say that Robert Valley is a big inspiration. Same with Sean Murphy, comic artist. Definitely look up these names too, like, or I'll link to them or something. I don't know, but really, really, really cool artists. Milt Kahl, classic animator. Sergio Pablos, LeSean Thomas, I really like. Phil Bourassa, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, all really, really cool artists. I mean, there's like tons of artists that I take inspiration from. Like it's really hard for me to pinpoint like favorite artists, I guess, or illustrators. Maybe I could come up with a list if I had a lot of time or something, but I don't know. I feel like I can take I guess I feel like artists, I can look at a lot of art and probably find something I like about all of it, which doesn't mean I'm trying to like reference everything I see, but I don't know. There's a lot of really, really cool art out there, and I try to learn from everything. As in addition to like studies and all that other stuff, whatever. But yeah, anyway, I think another inspiration of mine, which is funny that I don't like talk about it as an inspiration very much, but it's one of the things that people point out about my art a lot, is that people say that my art reminds them of like old cartoons, like 90s cartoons and early 2000s cartoons, especially Ed, Edd n Eddy, which is really funny because Ed, Edd n Eddy is like probably my top favorite kids cartoon. Yeah, it's definitely like one of my favorite cartoons ever. I love Ed, Edd n Eddy. So I wouldn't say I intentionally took inspiration from it, but I would not at all be surprised if some of the cartoon style like leaked into my own art. That would make perfect sense because I do love it a lot. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for like the top questions I get. I wasn't really sure what I was gonna do with this video, so you know, if you have any suggestions for like more things I could talk about in like my next video, let me know. Or if this is, you know, if this is something that you're interested in seeing more from me, is these like commentary type videos about art and stuff, answering questions, things like that. I'd love to talk about webcomics next time or some other time. I'd like to do a video about Patreon and like my experience with making and growing my Patreon. I think that could be pretty fun to talk about. But yeah, anyway, I don't know how to end this. Thanks for watching. Bye.